Hi, I'm Marcus with SpeakerMindMethod.com. So I know from my own experience that it is a lot easier said than done to, just get out of a block or a stutter. But what I want to challenge you with today is this. Maybe it's easier than you think. The reason I say this is because the majority of the problem for most of us is not physical, it's mental. And so many of you are just locked into this mindset of you feel like you have no control over your speech at all. You don't know why you block, you don't know when you'll stutter, and you certainly don't know how to get out of it when you do hit those blocks or stutters. But what if you're actually lying to yourself about the difficulty of stopping yourself, the difficulty of getting out of a block? I know it isn't the most comfortable thing to think about, so I'm going to try to, not be too harsh and not be too hard on you here today, but I do want to be honest with you. And if there is a level of self-sabotage going on, I want you to become aware of it so that you can fix it. So in today's video, I'm going to share 3 ways to take back control when you get stuck. Before we dive into that though, I want to let you know about my free Stop Stuttering workshop. I'll talk more about this at the end of the video, but all you need to know is this is an in-depth training on how to overcome stuttering and build a life of fluency, and what this will help you do is achieve 90% fluency in as little as 6 weeks. It gives you the step-by-step plan, so be sure to check that out, watch it, implement it. Link is in the description. It's 100% free. All right, let's dive in. So the first way to take back control of your speech when you hit a stutter or a block is to develop the skill of stopping yourself. Now, this may butt up against the mindset that you have. You might think that you have no control over it. Like when you hit a block and you hit that loop, you can't get out of it and it just is what it is. But you have to change your mindset. There's just no other way. You have to believe that you can stop yourself, and you can. Let me just be very clear about this. You can stop yourself when you find yourself in that stuttering or blocking loop, when you hit that wall. A big part of it is simply allowing yourself, giving yourself permission to stop. See, trying to push through a block or a stutter is like trying to push through a wall. Yeah, you might make it through, but you're going to hurt yourself. You're only going to injure and make the habits worse. And you'll have created yet another stuttering memory for your brain to put in its little memory bank to reference whenever you get into the next speaking situation. And it's just gonna, that's just how this works. Your brain looks for patterns to see, okay, how do we usually speak? How have we spoken today and yesterday and the other day and last week? And it just wants to repeat that. That is the nature of the brain. Now, this might sound like incomplete information because you might be saying to yourself, well, okay, even if I stop myself, then what do I do? Well, I got the answer right now, and that is the second thing that I'm going to talk about here, and that is implement what I call the hammer tool technique. Now, I call this the hammer tool because out of all the tools and tricks that I teach my students, this one tends to be just a hammer. It works really quickly. You can implement it almost immediately, and it just has a really powerful effect on your speech, especially if you tend to get stuck on those blocks and you just can't seem to get out of it. So this hammer tool is a very simple 4-step process. It is stop, breathe, rewind, and link. So here's an example of what the hammer tool looks like. Let's say you're in the Starbucks drive-thru and they ask you, what would you like to order? And you say, can I have a... And then you stop. You don't try to push through. If what I was going to say there was, can I have a grande latte? You don't want to do that. If you go, can I have a... Stop yourself. Don't let yourself, hold on to it or push through that stutter or block. Instead, what is the first step? It's to stop, right? So you stop yourself. The second thing you do is take a breath. So, can I have a... You stop yourself. Breathe in, and then you just rewind. You restart the phrase, and then the fourth step in this is you link the words together, right? So you pretend that there are no gaps in between the words. So, can I have a grande latte, please? And that's how it works. Now, is this going to work every time? Of course not. Or not at first anyway, right? You're learning new skills. So, if you try this tomorrow at Starbucks and you fail at it, and you're like, yeah, Marcus told me to do the hammer tool. I tried it, didn't work. It's like, that's not the process. You got to give this time, and you also need to practice this by yourself, right? So even practice this alone when you're reading. And I talk about all this stuff in the Stop Stuttering workshop as well. So be sure to watch that and implement that. But when you're reading alone, like you can practice and you can be like just reading and then literally stop and just rewind, almost kind of artificially creating a situation where you pretend that you would have blocked and then you just rewind and restart the phrase and link the words together. You want to ride that wave where you don't allow there to be really any gaps in between the words. Now, this idea of linking, I'll give credit to where credit is due here. I got this from a wonderful speech coach, Michael Williams. So check him out. Him and his Pro90D speech system is fantastic. Highly recommend it. And, I have a lot of similar components to my method as Michael does for him. So be sure to check him out on YouTube or his website and show him some love. So that is the hammer tool. When you hit a stutter, you stop, you breathe, you rewind, and then you link the words together. Kind of, it feels like a wave to me. Like that visual just makes sense, right? You stop, breathe, rewind, start the phrase over, and then kind of ride the wave and link the words together. All right, and finally, the third way to take back control of your speech when you get stuck is to believe that you can and will expand your fluency over time. Now, let me just be very clear and upfront and honest with you. This is not going to be easy. This is going to take time. It might take a year. It might take 2 years or even 3 years. And especially if you go through periods where you don't really do the routine or you kind of move on from it or you allow the busyness of life to kind of infiltrate what you're doing and infiltrate your growth, that's exactly what happened to me. Again, it took me a few years to become fluent when it should have taken me a few months. And so I'm here to try to help you become incredibly fluent in a few months. But even that, 6 to 12 months, for a lot of people, feels like too much, because we're talking 5 to even 6 days a week, 45 minutes a day, sometimes an hour a day. That's too much for a lot of people. Now that's basically anybody who's like in really, really good shape who goes to the gym 5 days a week, they usually spend an hour at the gym. So it's the same time frame, right? We're not spending 30 hours a week on this. No, it's 45 minutes to an hour a day, 5 days a week, and you repeat that with a plan for 6 to 12 months. So you must believe that you can and will expand your fluency over time. Now, I very intentionally chose that string of words. You can and will expand your fluency over time. So what do I mean by your fluency? Well, you don't stutter 100% of the time, do you? You don't stutter on 100% of the words that you say. So what does that mean? Well, that means you are fluent, at least sometimes, or at least on a percentage of words. So when I say become a fluent speaker, what I'm really saying is just become more of what you already are. Because you already have the capacity. You already do speak fluently a certain percentage of time or in some situations. So then your objective is very simple. Expand it. Improve on the fluency you already have. You're not bringing in some crazy new approach or idea to the way that you speak. Instead, you're just expanding on the fluency that you already possess. That's a powerful idea, so be sure to internalize that. Remember that it's not all stuttering. Unless you are the incredibly rare person who stutters on every single word, then you already have fluency. So now your job is to simply expand it. So, my friend, those are the 3 ways to take back control of your speech when you get stuck. Now, before you go, let me share a quote with you that I stumbled across the other day that just hit the nail on the head for me, and it's by Donald Miller, and it goes like this: "Nothing will cost you more in life than a predetermined belief that things are not going to work out." This is obviously true for the quest of overcoming stuttering. If you don't truly believe that you could become a competent and fluent speaker, then it's never going to happen. That is a destructive thought process. And like Donald Miller says, it's going to cost you. And really, nothing will cost you more than that predetermined belief that it's not going to work out. So if you're ready to not just believe you can do it, but you actually want to take some action, like I've already mentioned, be sure to check out my Stop Stuttering workshop. I'll leave a link in the description below. It's 100% free. And again, this will help you. This will give you a roadmap and a system and a plan to achieve 90% fluency in as little as 6 weeks. So go watch it, go implement it, have fun with it. It is an incredible training, and I'm giving it away for free. So that is the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching, my friend. I'll see you next time.